Good evening all. So we have come back with a very quick chat on restaurant and restaurant business and what we think about fast food restaurants. So I think this model of fast food has emerged through history, because if we look at the 19th century, I don't think there were a lot of restaurants around. Maybe there was one main restaurant in town, and towns were much smaller and cities were much smaller than cities these days. I think restaurants started to emerge in the 20th century when a lot of people moved from agriculture to work in factories, and when also a lot of people moved from the village to the cities. So cities is a very important part of how restaurants has emerged or have emerged. And I think there was a lot of tremendous changes that made people think differently about the restaurant business and how can start a new business and so on. So let me just give you a quick introduction about restaurants and what I think about them. So let's start. So basically, I will start with the fast food restaurants. I think those were the most successful ones, which have like franchises and places around the world. So this is the kind of business that you can look at it as a global kind of operation. It's very hard to look at a fine dining restaurant which focus on a personal experience, which focused on a particular theme, in the same way as you think about the fast food restaurant, which think about volume, which think about standardization, which think about reach. So fast food restaurants, we talk about the most fast food restaurant and the most famous kind of foods around the world. We look at three main restaurants. So we looked at pizza, we look at burgers, and we look at fried chicken. And don't tell me why those kind of restaurants are the most famous ones, and they are consistently famous across the globe. In our region, in the Middle East, I think in the Gulf, they are still the most famous ones, because there are multinationalities coming from different backgrounds, and they by chance put McDonald's and put KFC and put let me say Pizza Hut and so on at the forefront of restaurant business. But also there is the kind of rice kind of restaurants, restaurants that are associated with Arabic food are also very famous, and also the famous Arabic restaurants also have a very good market share, which are the ones that serve falafel sandwiches, shawarma sandwiches, and sometimes grill. So this is basically how the world differ from one place to another, and what kind of food people eat in a city like Dubai is somehow different than what people eat in Amman. So in order for restaurant success to succeed, you need actually people who are willing to spend money outside their houses, like spending money on food from outside. And you can look at this thing in two ways. You can look at things they buy fast food from supermarkets, like some kind of sweets, some kinds of chocolates, some kinds of maybe ready-made Lebanon, ready-made cheese, or they are willing to buy fresh food from a restaurant, and they think this is a value for money and the food is so delicious and they would like to do it. So in order for me to think about fast food restaurant, we need to think about taste and what people think about taste. In order to have yes, of course, you would always need a brand image to have your attention. But before the brand, I need to talk about taste. And if we think about taste, is something that is very important. So taste, it depends what do people eat and what they are usually eating. So if we look at the older generation, when people started introducing burgers, pizza, and fried chicken for them, they did not think about this as a good food. Maybe they did not think about it from terms of health or not health. Of course, they think about it from terms of cost, but they always thought maybe this is not the kind of food is suitable for us, or this is the food of the new generation. So, and I'm talking about people that I have dealt with them personally. So I do think that taste is highly developed with time. and taste is highly developed with the things that you experience and with the things that you get accustomed to and with the things that you have been raised with. So if we look at our all of the older generation, sometimes they are not really keen on eating things like burgers and things like outside. However, if you look at them, if you look at this generation and in Europe, and I would definitely think they would eat that. They would eat burgers, they would eat fried chicken, and they don't have a problem with that. So it depends on what they have been subjected to and what they are accustomed to and what they like to eat. So if you and this is when you look at a president of a country, when you look at a president of a country at the age of 70 eating burgers or eating pizza and so on. So I think this is what people eat regardless of their age. In our society, it depends on the age. So the second, this is a talk about taste, how taste is developed, how taste over time is emerge. So if you want to build a particular brand and you focus on this brand and you try to build the brand and you build your name again and again for a new kind of food, there should be an interest from the new adapters or for the new generation to taste this new restaurant, to be indulged in this new experience. So we have taste and we have taste, and then we talk about brand. And always brand, as part of any business, you would need time to in order to build this brand. Now we talked about brand, we talked about taste. I need to talk about the most famous kind of food for fast food. So for fast food, you'd have burgers, you would have pizza, and you have fried chicken. But for fast food in the Arabic world, you'd have, I think, shawarma. You'd have this falafel and hummus sandwiches and so on. And you would have some kind of rice. Let me say rice with some kind of soup, or kabsa, or mendi, or ملوخية or mansaf, this kind of lunch fast meals. And I think pastries, for example, did not get the chance. And I do think that shawarma is still getting the chance. Some pastries, some people think about them as they are more. Sometimes pizza is not. The thing is, pizza is not as fast as burger or fried chicken. So that's one thing. Also, a lot of people are start to think about health. So we have Subway as one of the people who think about health in terms of Subway. So they want some kind of fast food, but they want to stay healthy. So the trend is about healthy food, is about healthy fast food. So that's another thing to think about, healthy fast food. So if you want to open a restaurant, and maybe I have a cousin who has been working in some restaurants, and I have two cousins who has been working in some restaurants. So they are beautiful people who would think about different restaurants in different ways. There are three themes. There are three kinds of restaurant. The first one is a fast food restaurant that is focusing on volume and focusing on people buying a particular item or a particular sandwich, like a burger sandwich, like a pizza item, like a fried chicken meal, constantly for every 2 days or every 3 days. So they want to build a particular volume in order for their business to operate. And I think, for example, the taste of a restaurant like Al-Baik is really much better than a taste of a restaurant like KFC. But I don't know why Al-Baik did not manage to explode as much as KFC. Al-Baik was very successful in Saudi, but we don't know it in other places. So I do think if they were in Egypt, or if they were in Dubai, or if they were in other places, I do think they will definitely be successful. But the challenge is whether they will be able to sustain the same level of taste. I have tasted KFC and I have tasted Al-Baik. Personally, I think Al-Baik is much better. So the first one is about fast food business. This is a business that is dependent on volume, that is dependent on standard items, and that is dependent on consistent quality. The second one is about lunch kind of meal items, which actually depends on location. And it's basically you are targeting a group of audience who's coming tired from work, and they want to eat now, and they want to eat food that is filling, and they don't want to eat food that is filling, that is fast food. So this is a kind of Arabic audience, Arabic single audience, people who are from 22 to 29, not married, they don't know how to cook, or they are eager to buy something from outside because of the taste and so on. So you see a lot of young people eating kapsa and eating mansaf and eating all of these kind of food if you are living in a single in an area where a lot of single people living. The third one is the hardest one, which is basically a restaurant about fine dining. And this kind of restaurant, people go to that restaurant in order to enjoy the experience, in order to have some kind of outdoor entertainment, in order to reflect a social status, rather in order for them to eat. So they would like to focus on the vibe, they would like to focus on the service, and by the service is about showing that you are highly respected, showing that you are a regular at a particular place, showing that the kind of thing, the kind of place you visit, you are coming to relax, you are coming to hear a water sound, or maybe some towards a particular match. So it's about enjoyment, it's about spending some time with the family, it's about spending time with friends. And this theme is very different than fine dining in Europe. And yes, so professional service, clean environment, constantly serve same quality dish. Yes, I think that's apply for all. But if we look at the fine dining in Europe, is very different than the fine dining in the Arab region. Fine dining in the Arab region is about really personal experience, really about personal connection. While I think fine dining in Europe is about having a relaxed time. In a calm environment where you can have a very calm and interesting chat. Yes, it's a very different, and between the three models you move. So which one is the hardest? I think the fine dining one is the hardest, the one that requires a lot of capital and requires like all of the ingredients who should be there, and you should have really very professional chefs who can do this presentation all the time and who can always show some level of entertainment, and maybe they would one of them will come and say, tell me a compliment for the chef, I liked how the food is made. So these people sometimes, and I don't like to. So sometimes, if you want to reflect that you are in a particular status, you will say compliment the chef. I like the I like how he made the chicken grill, or I liked how he made. I like the tenderness of the meat, or you would say, I think how he added saffron, or how he added turmeric to the dish, give him a new flavor. I like the dimension he explored and so on. So you are kind of someone who does not eat anything, who you have a very special taste about things, and you are very careful on the things that you eat. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those, but I can try to do such a role. So that's a quick chat about restaurant business. I think there is an opportunity in the fast food world more than any other place. If you would like to think about a global operation or a global business, personally, I would love to have maybe a fine dining restaurant for me that I can invite people to from time to time to relax. It would be serving as my outdoor living room. so that was one of the dreams. So you have a restaurant to serve as your outdoor living room. So people dream. So I come to our outdoor living room, and this outdoor living room is basically a restaurant where you serve people, but if you have guests, you take them there. So at least I don't want the hotel. A restaurant is fine. So that was my quick talk on things. I do think if we have some kind of focus on some of the famous things in terms of fast food, maybe some food will work. Chinese food, we can copy some Chinese restaurants models, especially the famous ones, to have something similar to Arabic food. But it would take time. And if it works, it works. So that was my quick talk on restaurants and fast food restaurants. I wish you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in another talk. So, salam. And my greetings to Muhammad Zidan, my old friend. Greetings to Turkey. Send us some pictures from restaurants in Turkey. Salam.